Hello friends! So as I mentioned in my last video, in case you missed it, I am pregnant. So I am currently 15 weeks pregnant, so I'm a little bit behind on my first trimester video, but I just wanted to do a quick first trimester update for you guys. So if you saw my last video, I found out I was pregnant on January 24th. So I wasn't 4 weeks yet, and I had a lot of symptoms leading up to that. So if you want to check those out, you can watch my 2-week wait video. That should be the video posted before this. So let's just get into it. So I don't even know where to start. So like I said, I found out that I was pregnant on the 24th, and I think that following Monday, I called and just made my doctor's appointment. I had already been going to a gynecologist here that does obstetrics as well, and so I just was like, okay, we're just gonna go with that office. I didn't, I'm living in a different place right now for school, and so I didn't, I don't know, I don't know anyone here really to give me, to give me recommendations or anything, and I already liked my doctor there, and so I just decided let's just go with it, keep this simple. So I went ahead and made my appointment with them, and my first appointment was scheduled for the 24th of February. And so the only thing that was really funny, sorry, my camera's a little crooked. The only thing that was really funny about scheduling this appointment is that, as I mentioned in my last video, I had really weird periods and some weird things going on with my ovulation date. So it was kind of funny to talk to the person on the phone, and they were trying to figure out how far along I was so they could schedule my appointment, because the office liked to do ultrasounds between 8 and 10 weeks. That's when they first like to see you. And so we were just going back and forth for a while trying to figure out what date to put in as my last period so that we could get an accurate date of how far along I was. Luckily, I was about spot on with how far along I was, so that worked out well. So I ended up, when I went into my appointment, I was exactly 8 weeks, so that worked out great. So I had my first appointment, like I mentioned, on February 24th, and we got to do an ultrasound, and then I had my appointment with the doctor, and we got to see the baby, and that was really exciting. And it was kind of crazy because I don't know, I guess from watching videos online and stuff, I had prepared myself to have a transvaginal ultrasound, and when we got in there, she just immediately went to my stomach, and the second she placed it there, there was baby on the screen. So I was really shocked at how quick that was. And so we got to see the flicker of the heartbeat, but we didn't get to hear it for whatever reason. I don't know, that's just how my doctor's office is, but we didn't get to hear that. So let's see, the baby's heartbeat was 169, I believe, on that first appointment. And yeah, like I said, then I had my appointment. Everything looked good. Like I said, they put me at 8 weeks, and yeah, so that was my first appointment. And just for reference, I weighed at the beginning of my pregnancy about 143 to 144, and now I'm 15 weeks and I'm still weighing 143. So I am starting to show. I've been eating an unbelievable amount. If we want to go into my symptoms, I've been starving the entire pregnancy. It slowed down a bit, I would say, maybe when I hit 10 weeks-ish, but not by much. I'm still very much more hungry than I was before. And I did have, let's see, so from about, I want to say 6 weeks to probably 10 weeks, I had nausea. I would wake up with pretty bad nausea in the morning. I did not throw up at all, thank God. But I definitely had pretty persistent nausea. But it was the type of nausea that if I ate, for the most part, I felt better. But one weird thing was that if you ask anyone in my life, I am a huge sweets person and always have been. I'm a baker, and so I love sweets, and also I love coffee. Well, pregnancy just completely messed that up, and I was not wanting to have anything sweet, no chocolate, just sweets like disgusted me. So that was my first food aversion, was just anything sweet. And then coffee slowly started to gross me out as well. And this is weird because we have like an espresso machine and I would make espresso every day, and like, but suddenly the smell started just like get to me. And to this day, I'm 15 weeks and I like haven't had a cup of coffee in like, I don't know, 4 or 5 weeks at this point. And now it's not so much an aversion, it's just that like I got out of the routine and I just like can't seem to get back into it. I don't know if it's part of like that or if it's like the memory of it being like grossing me out. I don't know, but haven't gotten back into coffee yet. So that's been really interesting. And the sweets luckily came back. And like I'm definitely not as huge of a sweet tooth as I used to be. But you know, like we've been baking this whole quarantine. That's another thing to mention. In case you're watching this video later on, this is during this whole quarantine season in our lives. And so it's currently April of 2020. And so that's been kind of an interesting thing to go through in this time. I think it's been really like anxiety inducing in a lot of ways. It's been worrisome, but we're like just trying to focus on the positive parts of it. And one positive has really been that it has given us something to like focus on and like hope for the future and like just put our all into. So we've just like been online shopping and looking for baby things and talking about baby things. And so that's been nice. That's been like our escape from like the chaos of what's going on. And the other great thing is that I'm still working, and then my husband is still working, and he's working from home, and so it's been nice to have him home. And then we, so it's been nice in that sense, to be able to stay home and like know that we're safe and, you know, like until like the tiredness started to go away from the first trimester. It was also nice because I can relax and take naps and like just have a slower pace of life. So that it's had its, you know, ups and downs. One downside of that was then my second doctor's appointment, which was on the 25th of March. My husband couldn't come to. So that appointment was pretty quick, and I got to hear the baby's heartbeat for the first time, so that was exciting, and the doctor let me record it for him, so that was nice for my husband. But it was definitely a weird doctor's appointment. Like they had someone outside with like a mask and like a questionnaire to like screen you before you went inside, and then they took us to like, they would take you to the back like employee entrance where they would put you directly into a room. So it was kind of a different experience there. To go back to some other symptoms, so my next appointment is the 21st of April. And that'll be my 16-week appointment. So to go back to some of my other symptoms, I'm trying to think. So I have had, if you watched my last video, I mentioned cramping. I had mild cramping kind of throughout the first several weeks. I don't think that it slowed down until probably like 8-9 weeks or so. It's hard to remember now, but and to this day, like I do have occasional cramping. But that kind of surprised me because I guess I just had a lot of like growing pains, as you would call it. But it's just like your uterus is, you know, like stretching. And so for me, I felt that a lot. Again, it wasn't like anything really terrible, but it was just kind of like a constant ache. During my, like up to this point, I pretty much continued working out. Several days a week, like 4 to 5 days a week, which is what I was doing before. The only thing that changed was in those, like probably from the time I found out to about 8 weeks or so, I definitely took it a lot lighter. Like I did a lot more walking. I didn't do like heavier weights. I just really like took it super easy. and just like still tried to get some exercise in and like be moving and everything, but I just did not, because I was still having that cramping. And like, if you've been pregnant before, you know that like you get really anxious while you're waiting to go to that doctor's appointment to know that everything's okay. And so I just really like wanted to take care of myself and just like make sure that I was doing everything that I could. And so I just took it super easy, and I'm really glad that I did that, because I've like been able to get back into it now. Not that I'm doing anything like super insane. Of course, I'm still doing home workouts. Like we have a pretty equipped home gym, which is nice. But I've still been doing home workouts because you can't go to a gym right now. But I wasn't before pregnancy, so that's been fine. But let's see, the last thing I wanted to talk about was the gender. So we did genetic testing at 10 weeks, and about a week and a half later, we got our results, and the baby is a girl, which has been super exciting. Super exciting. And it was funny because at first, like when I first found out I was pregnant, I thought it was a boy, and I wasn't sure if I was like, because I've always wanted a girl first, and so I wasn't sure if I was kind of preparing myself mentally for it to be a boy, so that way, like, no matter if it were a boy or girl, like I would already be prepared. But then like that slowly changed, and then I just had a feeling it was a girl. And so then when we found out, I was like pretty shocked. I don't know, I think I just couldn't actually believe that like it's a girl. So that's been really fun, and I've loved buying clothes. So we bought a decent amount of clothes. As far as like other items, I have just bought like a swaddle and like burp cloths and things like that, blankets, but we haven't bought any of our like big items yet. But yeah, I think that's it for my first trimester recap. I'll go ahead and insert some bump shots next. And I think that's it. So thank you for watching, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.